Hi, I'm Rafael Conde Gomes, and this presentation covers information behavior in data science and machine learning across six peer-reviewed articles. We move through an introduction, a literature review, critique, trend analysis, future directions, and personal interpersonal reflection. First, we define what information behavior is. As defined by Wilson, it's the totality of human behavior related to sources and channels of information, active seeking, passive acquisition, information use, and information avoidance. In data science, this matters directly. How we seek training data, benchmarks, and literature shapes the models we build, which is basically containing information avoidance concept right here. Search engines, automated machine learning platforms, and medical record systems were all designed based on exactly this kind of research. So now we started with the literature review from six articles from 2013 to 2022. In Article 1, Althus, Corallo, and colleagues studied how computer scientists seek information using interviews, dialogues, and in a survey of 76 researchers. The key finding, the key finding is that staying up to date is the most common purpose, exploring unfamiliar areas is the hardest, and they propose six design challenges for better search tools. The main limitation, in my opinion, is that the sample is too small and self-selected to actually generalize. Article 2, Gar and colleagues built a system called ISEEQ that automatically generates clarifying questions from short user queries using knowledge graphs and artificial intelligence. It frames information seeking as a dialogue. The system asks follow-up questions to help users find what they actually need. It outperforms competing systems across multiple quality measures. And one of the limitations is that the human evaluation only used 12 reviewers on 30 queries, which is too small to support strong claims. In the third article, Costam and colleagues interviewed 20 practitioners and analyzed 100,000 search queries from a UK government data portal. And the finding was that people struggle most with data quality, where the data came from, and whether they can actually trust it. And to solve that, they propose a five-step model for how people work with structured data. And the critical gap is that the study only captures basic keyword searches, missing how technical users actually pull data through code and programmatic tools. For example, API and SQL-based data retrieval. In the fourth article that I selected, Drosdal and colleagues tested whether showing users more information about how an automated machine learning tool works increases their trust in it, and they find that it does significantly. Users care most about seeing how well the model performed, not actually about the technical details behind it. And the concern about this is that trusting a tool because the interface looks pretty or informative without actually understanding what it's doing under the hood is a form of blind trust, not actual informed trust. In Article 5, King and colleagues built a system to predict which patient information ICU clinicians look for during their morning rounds. And this model was trained on 178 patient cases. About a third of the prediction targets performed pretty well, and the core problem is that clinicians themselves disagreed significantly on what information was relevant. And this means that if the experts cannot agree on the right answer, the system ends up learning those disagreements rather than anything meaningful. On the last article, um, Conrad and colleagues used machine learning to predict whether at-risk youth aged 14 to 24 would seek health information online. 1,287 participants across Los Angeles and New Orleans were interviewed in this article, and the models performed well and were tested on data they had never seen before out of sample testing, and which makes this the most rigorous study in the set. And There is, however, a remaining limitation. The data still came from self-reported surveys, which we all know is subject to a lot of biases, meaning that people don't always answer accurately, even if they want to. So now that we're done with all the 6 articles, I will start the critique about them. And across all 6 articles, most samples were too small to generalize. That was overall finding of mine. Four of 6 rely on self-reported survey data. Only the last 2 studies test their findings on new data rather than the same data they used to build them. And formal information behavior frameworks are mostly cited in the introduction, but are never actually used to structure their search. So now I'll talk a little bit about the trend analysis. Looking at this table, the 3 earlier articles here use a mix of qualitative and quantitative methods. The 3 more recent ones are purely quantitative and use machine learning to predict information behavior directly. The shift from describing how people seek information to predicting it is a defining trend across this set, which is kind of natural since technology is progressing and the algorithms are easier to use with new technology. Um, the through line across all 6 articles, regardless of population, clinicians, students, youth, their practitioners, everyone struggles to find information they can trust and judge the quality of. And that's the beauty of IB, in my opinion. And not one study tracks what people actually do. Every study asks people what they remember they were doing. The gap between reported and actual behavior is a field-wide problem. And regarding the future directions, I see 5 different directions, as you can see here. Um, we can track what people actually do instead of asking them to recall it. We can build search tools that adapt to individual users. We can also address access barriers for underrepresented groups, run studies that follow people over time rather than just a snapshot in time, and connect information behavior research more formally with fields like healthcare, informatics, and AI design. Finally, I'd like to close off with a personal reflection on the whole course overall. And I'd like to say that this course changed how I approach finding information. I used to be a reactive, I used to consume information in a reactive way, and now I'm more deliberate in the way I consume information. Reading these articles also made me see the tools I use every day as a product of this kind of research, which makes me a more critical user of them. And as someone in machine learning, it gave me genuine appreciation for what qualitative and mixed methods work can surface that a model alone never could. So here are the reference in APA style format for the 6 articles I selected. And I'd like to finish off with a thank you for the course and a little bit of my information. Thank you.